Is there really a sense of guiding in Xiongxi? Yes, there is. The teacher said that to become a guide, one must go through 3 tests. The first test is to test my courage. Once a person dies, they cannot be moved again. Otherwise, they become a demon, a ghost, or something else causing trouble. This is a common understanding that even people living in a scientifically described era can reach. The guiding sense undoubtedly challenges the most basic laws of this world. Old man, excuse me, I've come here this spring to conduct a ritual. In a few days, someone will come to collect it. If you go up from the cornfield, you will find a house that has been abandoned for many years. If you circle to the back of this house, you will see a land temple. There is indeed a land temple there. If you continue walking up, through a rather eerie forest, you will find a large cemetery. Find the tallest tombstone among them, place it down. Don't need the temperature drop now, just go up. Yes, you need it, hit the grave's top. Speaking of the grave, I think it's changed. I placed a sycamore leaf there. You should take it back at night. Yes, at night. That old lady had quite a spicy temper when she was alive. So I placed the sycamore leaf on her grave. She had a strong personality in life. People in the village were quite afraid of her. Thank you for your applause, and for the tacit understanding that protects the flower of 1,000-year-old leaf. I watched a stage play yesterday about showcasing chess. It made the fortune appear on the forehead, then the corpse would rise. Is there really such a spell? You can't call it a spell. It's more like a technique. Do you have to sleep beside the corpse that night? Yes, you need to sleep next to it. People fear the dark and corpses. Fundamentally, it's all rooted in the fear of the unknown. Techniques and methods, not feudal superstition. However, when linked with guiding sense, they get covered by a layer of mystery. For instance, setting hands, dogs, cats, and mice are all to protect the body from being pecked by birds and beasts during the guiding process. Now, the profession of guiding has been eliminated by the times. It has become an inspiration for many novels and films, and only a few still know its secrets. The most important aspect of guiding is to carry weight steadily. Let's start. It's heavy. Teacher, these 3 barrels weigh 40 pounds each. 3 barrels equal 120 pounds. It's normal to be heavy. When placing them, they should all be put down together. Feel the weight. Yes, it's heavy. Place it on you. First, put it on your shoulder. Good. Teacher, what types of guiding senses are there? Here, we categorize guiding into 3 situations. The first type is Baishaisad poetry, which is an entry-level guiding sense. Only one body can be transported at a time, as long as you're brave and strong enough to walk the mountain roads. The second type is Yaoshai medicinal poetry, referring to the herbal medicine. This Yaoshai method is one that isn't documented in the materials. The difficulty and methods are unknown. It is said that in Xiongxi, legends about living guiding poetry once appeared. Whether there is a connection between the 2 stories adds an innocent charm to guiding. What's that hopping around? That's the third type, Taishai platform poetry. This type arises in times of war, chaos, or disease outbreaks when large amounts of corpses need to be transported. The Taishai method is the most difficult among the 3 guiding senses. 2 people lift, using bamboo to bind the corpse's hands across it. The person at the back rests on the shoulders of the person in front. Generally, 3, 4, or 5 can be transported at once. The stride must start with the left foot. Move right, turn, yes, just like that. Don't move the back. Good, stop. For 5 corpses, if you consider one to be 90 pounds, 5 are very heavy, I don't think 2 people can lift that. So this is the mysterious detail of guiding. Turn this way, it's fine. In short, guiding is a labor-intensive job. For the next few days, go work with the local villagers for some training. Ha ha ha, just exercise for a few days. Clumsy cat, shut the door and windows, still stealing and looking around. I thought that having courage and strength was enough to do guiding, but working with the locals made me realize it's quite hard for outsiders to become guiding experts. In our area, elderly ladies in their 60s or 70s can carry 80 pounds and still climb to the mountaintop. A strong person carrying weight up a mountain might not compare to a 70-year-old grandmother in the mountains of Xiongxi. Guiding here isn't blind superstition, but rather a specific aspect of life here. Granny, I brought the firewood. Where should I put it? Thank you. Xiongxi is located in mountainous regions where life is bitter. Even with inconvenient transportation, there are still some who have to go to other places for work. In Dozican, there are more than 50 elderly people over 80 years old. Perhaps nearby or in their memories, their childhood experiences with guiding still linger. Our area only had public transportation in the 90s, so before that, professional guides still existed. This was because transportation was not available, and the mountain roads were treacherous, so it was necessary to transport corpses manually. What was unimaginable to me was that this place is so remote that most elderly people have never left their village. The vast mountains block everything, with neither carts nor horses passing through. It's difficult for the living to go out, and even harder for the deceased to return. How far is it from here? 30 li, about 10 kilometers. First, walk. Oh, do I have to climb the mountain? How long will it take? 40 li, about 13 kilometers. Wow, 8 or 9 hours. Many people want to travel back to ancient times after watching costume dramas. Of course, ancient times had their splendor, but that was mostly the glory of officials and nobles. For ordinary folks during feudal times, eating once a day and having one iron tool was considered a family heirloom, a true reflection of the life for most common people. When you got married back then, was there any dowry? I remember marrying just those few necks, then I forgot. Ha ha ha, you never got married. Dowry? The elderly here live long lives, but during the hard times of their parents, many passed away early. So, when do you usually go home to visit? Mom, I went to sleep last night. Ha ha ha, so early. Oh, I miss my mom. Ha ha ha. These elderly people have a more concrete idea of returning to their roots. That is, returning to the place where they were born and raised. My neck hurts a bit. It still hurts a little now. Why, it hurts. What happened? They say sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes, no sweet potatoes. In the mountains, there are many poisonous insects and grasshoppers. The vast mountains are undoubtedly a forbidden area of life for ordinary people. But the guides are skilled at navigating the mountains and asking about the waters. They can see the spirit of the mountains. This is not mystical. It's like being able to tell who is joyful, who is lifeless, and who is in a murderous rage. The guides who have lived here for years have developed a beast-like intuition about the spirit of the mountain and the veins of the water. They can see it. Hurry up. It's going to rain soon. After working on the farm for a while, the master finally agreed to take me to a place known as the Cold Wine Cave. This is where familiar mountain guides find burial grounds among the mountains. We've arrived at the cave entrance. It's windy here. It's so dark. This is where the guides store corpses, so the temperature is lower here. We process the corpses here, and the time spent processing them is relatively short. First, we handle the bodies and store them. Let's take a look inside and feel it. Walk a few steps quickly. Teacher, wait for me. I've already introduced you to the whole body guiding technique. Now, I'll introduce you to half-body guiding. In Xiongxi, the Miaotai and herbal medicine are essential parts of the guiding culture, primarily used for preservation, odor prevention, insect repelling, and preventing animal feeding. The herbal medicine can also carbonize and dehydrate the body. Generally, we remove the internal organs and head holes, then let it dry, allowing one person to guide one corpse. In special circumstances, we might leave the limbs and head holes intact, allowing two people to guide 4 to 5 corpses. In the context of Chinese culture, the term dying away from home always carries a melancholic connotation, while returning to one's roots is the final wish of every traveler. How do you view death and corpses? If it's a corpse of someone I don't know, I would be afraid. But if it's a family member, being so far away and wanting to return to one's roots comes with a price. What about the medicinal stones? You will find that guiding often involves using substances that numb people. Before someone completely dies, we negotiate with them, making them drink our special medicine, so they feel they must return home. This notion drives them, the longing for their loved ones, parents, or children. So they hold their last breath, striving to hurry home as quickly as possible. This is called living guiding. In order to go home and save money, the dying choose to become living corpses, becoming the protagonists in stories like Wu Zi. Those who become living corpses do so out of a singular obsession, setting off on the road back home. By the time they return, all connections fade, and this special remedy faded into historical obscurity along with the last batch of guides. Keep steady, don't move it back and forth. You can push it forward, don't pull it back. Teacher, I feel like I can still do it. I feel I can still do it. 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 Come on, Granny, the doctor should take this chance to cure me. When I was young, I heard my grandfather tell a story about how many people in the village were conscripted into battle. Grandfather died, then father went, and he died too. Then the grandson, just 13 or 14 years old, went a ton. In the village, people from one household sold their ox, and others sold chickens to gather money for my grandfather to figure out a way to bring the bodies back. Among the ethnic minorities, everyone wore earrings this big. Because weapons were already available at that time, so many corpses were severely damaged and could not be brought back at all. When he walked to the village entrance, elderly people, children, and women were all asking him, "Did my husband come back?" Children asked, "Did my father come back?" Some middle-aged women asked, "Did my son come back?" In the past, there were almost no women going out in this place, but those who did leave, who knows how far they went. However, those left behind only hope for their return. When those waiting have all left, who still remembers those who have not returned home? The police implement national affairs. No, get lost. Stop being complacent. Don't think that people must be heartless. Heaven.